good evening and welcome to Sport Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Kingsley Emmanuel and I'm very happy to be here this evening to bring you up to speed with the latest revolving around the world of sport. Top one out menu this evening we shall take a look at the performance of some teams in the ongoing Copa America, as well as other stories revolving around the world of sports. The Wimbledon is very close, as we've seen first round pairing for some players. Of course, when we come back from this break, we'll be able to unravel the first round pairing of the Wimbledon, as well as the performance of teams in the Copa America. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everyone.
The Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. I'm very alone in the studio this afternoon. I have with me Emmanuel Michael. Michael, good evening to you and welcome to the weekend edition of Sports Extraordinary.
Yeah, good evening to you, Kingsley. You almost said afternoon. I began to check my time again if I actually am in this part of the climb. Good evening to our viewers out there. Always a nice time to talk sports.
Always a nice time to talk sports, and we have a lot on our menu. And we're going to be taking a look at what's happening in athletics as Nigerian hurdler Toby Amuson says she's grateful to have been able to overcome illness and help Nigeria win a third consecutive women's 4x100 meters gold at the African Championship in Cameroon. Michael, what do you make of the progress of Toby Amuson in the I know trials we saw her at the trials in Benin down here in Nigeria. She put up a very impressive performance for herself. I think she won her 4th national title in that one. Went down to Cameroon and was able, of course, to help the 4x100 meters relay team to get a gold medal.
A good one for Toby Motion, but not totally satisfied for me because, you know, injury actually blighted her pursuit of the 100-meter relay, which she should have been able to win that very one. But because of that little, you know, sore throat that didn't allow her to participate in that very one, cost us 1 gold medal, because if she has participated in the 100-meter hurdle, I tell you, she should have been able to nick that one in the board. But then she was able to come back very strong to be part and parcel of the 4x400 meter relay race, which she actually helped the team out there to clinch a gold medal. Though the timing of their return wasn't good enough as well. But then one thing was very certain, that they were able to clinch gold medal in that very one. So for Toby Motion, I'm just happy for her. And if she can stay very fit, I see her doing great things in this year's Paris Olympic game, because she has been in fine form of racing. And definitely Toby Motion is that athlete that whenever she's in the Nigerian contingent, you can be rest assured that something positive will definitely come our way.
All right, let's keep our fingers crossed and see how Toby Amosan, of course, will lead Team Nigeria to the Paris Olympic Games. But Michael, it seems as if there's a little bit of pressure on her. You know, she's never won gold at the Olympic Games. And taking a look at her performance so far, what record holder you see getting down to the Olympic, you know, a lot of expectation. Is there any pressure on Toby Amosan heading down to the Olympics?
Definitely there are. There are so many pressure. Having not won an Olympic gold medal, and a world record holder for that matter, you want to also build on that confidence, because a whole lot of hope is reposed on her, you know, to make the difference out there for the Nigerian contingent. So for me, a lot of pressure for the 27-year-old, but she has what it takes to absorb this pressure and beat, you know, the expectation of many. Of course, yes, like I said earlier, taking a look at her fine form so far this season, if she can carry it down to the Olympic game, I tell you, we should be very, very hopeful. But then a lot of pressure, because she's not just going there to compete maybe with African athletes. There is many athletes, many stars from across the globe is going to converge in that very one. Good athlete like Camacho Queen, Shereki Jackson. These are some of the big names that she'll be facing at the Paris Olympic game, which is not going to be an easy one. So a lot of pressure that comes with it, but then I think she has what it takes to also beat this pressure and also get us, you know, possibly a gold medal in this year's Paris Olympic game, which will start off in less than a month's time.
You know, taking a look at the performance for Team Nigeria in the trials in Benin City we saw down here, and that we saw in Cameroon as well. Are you satisfied with the timing, you know, of being thrown out by these athletes in their various events? Is it enough? Is it good enough to help these athletes, of course, you know, put up a very impressive performance at the Paris Olympic Games?
Well, frankly speaking, Kingsley, it's not good enough. You saw the 4x400 meter relay race. They won a gold medal, but then looking at the timing, it wasn't good enough to get us a qualification ticket for the Paris Olympic Games. So, and for the national trial as well, I take a look at the timing of their return in their respective you know, races out there. I tell you, it is not good enough. But then I think they can build on this. They can work on that. Having seen that their timing, they just concluded the African Championship out there in Douala, Cameroon, wasn't good enough to get us a, you know, Paris Olympic ticket. I believe some of the athletes have also seen this, and they need to also improve on their timings if they truly want to also compete favorably among the best of the world. So I think I'm also a little bit worried, just like the way you are worried as well about their timing, which for me, there is need for them to improve on their timing. It's not good enough for you to win gold medal, will clap for you. Of course, that is good, but then does it actually meet with the timing, with the standard of the Olympic game? These are some of the questions. So I think a lot need to be improved in terms of the timing of their return as well, so that it also gives us that advantage going forward.
Impressive one. Let's say it goes for Team Nigeria ahead of the Paris Olympic game. Everyone looking forward to see them, of course, putting up some impressive performance. But Michael, another worry is the fact that the male athletes, they've not really lived up to expectation. You take a look at the just concluded African Championship in Cameroon down there. We understand that the female athletes were able to get 5 gold medals, 6 silver, and 4 bronze medals, while the male athletes got they got about, I think, 1 gold medal. They had 1 gold medal, 1 silver, and 2 bronze medals. I don't know what you make of, the performance of the male athletes at the All-African Games, at the African Games in Cameroon.
Not an impressive one. Not an impressive one at all. They played their second fiddle. Was it third position that they finished? The one that the Ghanaians won. Yes, they finished third, which for me I think is very, very poor. Winning only 1 gold medal. I think, like I said 3 days ago also here in our sister station, I said it, that you look as though the female counterpart, they are doing much better compared to the male counterpart of our athletes. So I think it's a big worry for me, because if our female counterpart is doing pretty well and our male, they're supposed to be leading the line while the female follow. But reverse is the case, and they are not even following. Because you take a look at the medal disparity between them, I think it's very, very high, and it's a source of worry, especially heading for the Paris Olympic
Games. Was the only man that gave them gold medal,
and that happened in the first day of the championship. Ever since the first day of the championship down to the last day, which is a 6-day event, we could not be able to win any other gold medal. So for me, I think it's a big worry. It's a big worry, and I believe that the Athletic Federation of Nigeria, they are also taking a look at some of these little things, so that they can be able to address it before the Paris Olympic game kickstart officially. Though there's no more time, but then there is need for the AFN to also draw this, awareness in the heart of the female athlete, that they are not doing enough. Because if they were doing enough, there was the one that was supposed to set the pace while the female counterpart follows. But reverse is the case. So I think a big worry for the time that for the fact that the timing of our return is not that good. A big worry for the fact that our male counterpart is not doing enough, and we are heading for the Paris Olympic game in less than a month time. So it's a big worry, Kingsley. Like I said, I believe they also note all of these, these challenges, and be able to work on it before the Paris Olympic game kicks off officially.
A huge worry, as it is. And Michael, for the past 3 years now, the female athletes, they've always, done better than the male athletes, at this point in time. And this is what we just saw as well, at this point in time at the African Championship. I don't know, what do you think, the male athlete need to do it? We have people, the fastest man in the country. We have Sekiri, we have Alaba Kintola, we have likes of Consider Ekanem, and the rest. What do you think they need to do to make sure they step up their game and try to compete with the female athletes as well?
They need to challenge themselves. They need to challenge themselves. It's as simple as that. If they discover that they have not been doing pretty well, and for me, I think they need to challenge themselves. Say, come on, I can do this. Take a look at the returns of so many other athletes out there. They are not different. They don't have 2 heads. So I think it's about challenging themselves to also come out of this doldrum that they find themselves as it stands right now. It's not just the last 3 years that the male athletes have continued to dominate, to show the lead. Since 1996, when we first made our mark in terms of the Olympic, I think it is also the female counterpart that also, brought that honor and glory to us. Ever since then, down to this day, you discover that our male counterpart seems to be, falling apart. They seems not to be holding it down when it matters most. And it's a big worry. Like I said, they need to challenge themselves. Look up to some of the greats, across the globe. Look up to some big name, stars in the past and present. What are they doing differently that they need to do. So these are the things that they need to improve. Challenge yourself. Tell yourself that you can be the best among the rest, and by so doing, they can get themselves, kickstart a fine career and a fine performance, which will actually bring honor and glory to the country. Because if they live with this idea of getting satisfied just because you are dominating the continent of Africa, you are number one in Africa, fine. But being number one in Africa is quite different from the world. Don't you want to be recognized globally? So I believe they should challenge themselves so that they can be able to do more.
All right, let's say it is. We hope that the male athletes will challenge themselves in order for them to do more for the country. But Michael, I can tell you that the list of athletes that will represent Nigeria at the Olympics is out. Number one, we have Toby Amusan. We have Favor Ofili. Should be competing in the 100 meters, 200 meters, and the 4x100 meters relay race as well. We also have Tima CK Seye, that's God bless. Will be competing in the 100 meters, 200 meters, 4x100 meters as well. We also have Ella. We have Esebrume in the long jump event, and Ruth Ukeme Usoro will also participate in the long jump event as well. Favor Ochitere Ashe, that's Favor Ashe, will also be at the Olympic Games, but he will participate in the 100 meters and 4x100 meters relay race as well. Godsin Ogene Brume will also be in this one. Chudi Udodi Wazirike will participate. Chidi Okezie, we have Ezekiel Nathaniel will also be there. Samuel Okazi will be there as well. Chukwe Bukwa and Nukuchen in the shot put event will be there at the Paris Olympic Games for Team Nigeria. And we have Edosin Ibadi as well, who was there. Temi Tokwe Adeshina will also compete for Team Nigeria. So we have a total of 16 athletes, Michael, heading down to the Paris Olympic Games for Team Nigeria. What do you make of it at this point in time with these names I just mentioned?
I think looking at the names that you just mentioned here, these are the best hand that we have presently in the country. And of course, you expect them to at least, out of 16 athletes, you expect them at least to come back maybe with 8 gold medals or possibly 10. That will do the job. But then I still think that a lot needs to be done if we truly want to go out there and make a mark. No doubt, the list that you just rolled out is the best that we have to offer in the country as well so far as it stands right now. So hopefully, I believe that they have what it takes to go out there and make the difference. But especially for our male counterparts, a lot needs to be done, a lot of improvement before heading to the Paris Olympic Games. But away from that, I think that they have what it takes as well to also bring us, massive gold medals in this year's Paris Olympic Games.
Let's keep our fingers crossed and see how Team Nigeria, of course, will perform. Toby Amusun will be leading the team to Paris for the Olympic game. Can she help the team, of course, to grab gold medal? Can she overcome the pressure to get a gold medal for Team Nigeria this time around? That's what, of course, we'll be looking at for at this point in time. But let's stay away from the Athletic Federation as we talk about wrestling at this point. Nigerian Wrestling Federation has said that the overseas camping stage for 8 wrestlers' preparation for the Paris 2024 Olympic will begin on Monday. That's next week in Germany. The Nigerian Wrestling Federation President Daniel Gali revealed this to newsmen yesterday in Ibadan, saying that the overseas training would follow the ongoing local campaign in Uruguay, which will end on Sunday. Preparation for the Olympic Games are in top gear, and we've seen some of the athletes, of course, already putting themselves in top shape down here in Uruguay. Michael, Wrestling Federation also putting up a huge preparation for the Olympic Games.
Yes, I think that if there's any other sporting federation here in the country that you say, yes, they truly know their onions, they truly know what they are doing, they truly understand what it means to prepare for a major tournament. I think it is the Wrestling Federation, led by no other man than Daniel Igali, the sport commissioner in his state. As I tell you, this man has seen it all. He has been on the local and international level. He has played the game, has been into the game for a quite long time. He has gotten the name that he truly deserves. And for me, I think we need such a man that have depth knowledge of the game to also man the affairs of such a sporting federation. And the example of the knowledge, the depth of the knowledge that he has is about the fact that he has been able to establish a very, very good wrestling camp out there in Bayelsa, where other countries as well even send their athletes, send their wrestlers than here, for proper training. And for me, I think starting early preparation is always a major key. It's always a major factor towards having a successful tournament out there. Like I told us in our sister station that for the local based athlete, they have started camping for the past 2 weeks right now in Yenegua. Then for the foreign based athlete and other ones that will be picked along as well, they will be starting their foreign camping very soon as well. So for me, I think you just need to give it up for Daniel Igali in terms of preparation, in terms of doing the right thing at the right point in time. So for me, I think other federations as well should take a cue from what Daniel Igali is doing. While heading for major tournament, there is need for you to organize camping 3 weeks, 4 weeks before such major tournaments, so that you can be able to perfect your craft, perfect your game, before heading for such major tournaments, which is very key, like I said earlier, for achieving a very good success.
All right, so I was talking about Team Nigeria preparation ahead of the Paris Olympic game, and I tell you, it's really getting intense. The names of the athlete that will be representing the Athletic Federation are out already, and we just read them out for you. Toby Amusin will be leading the athlete to the Paris Olympic game. But Michael, we heard a lot about Athletic Federation, we heard a lot about Boxing Federation in terms of preparation ahead of the Olympic Games. Also heard a lot about the Volleyball Federation, and as well as some other federations as well. But not much has been heard about the Swimming Federation.
Or even the Basketball Federation.
The Basketball Federation as well. Of course, I think they didn't make the qualification.
That's the male team. I'm talking about the D-Tigress.
The D-Tigress, yes. Much has not been heard about the D-Tigress of Nigeria. They even have a tough group, in the Olympic Games. Not much or so has been heard about the Gymnastic Federation as well. Last time at the Tokyo Olympic Game, we have a certain Uche Eke, who represent the country in gymnastics. Though he didn't have a very good outing, but at least having someone to represent the country in gymnastics was a very big one. 4 years down the line, Michael, the Athletic Federation of Nigeria, they've not said anything about Uche Eke, his whereabouts, his welfare at this point in time. What do you make of some of these sports that maybe were not probably taken very, seeing them as very important for us to, also participate at the Olympic Games?
And unfortunately, some of these unpopular sports, relatively unknown sports here in the country, are some of the strengths that other countries use to amass gold medals, to amass medals for themselves at such a big event. But you look as though we just want to select the few ones that we feel that it is attractive and leave the rest. And when you do so, I tell you, it simply means that there's no holistic development of sport, because you want to develop sport generally and ensure that you give yourself a good outing in any major competition. You need to be an all-rounder in terms of the sport out there. So for me, I think it behoves on the Athletic Federation to also start checking up on some of these big names that we had in the past, some good prospect coming up. You just discover that as the year goes by, you no longer hear of them. Nobody cares for them.
I remember last time at the National Youth Games, the last edition, we saw young talents, young gymnasts. We saw little girls, boys, of course, putting up their gymnastic skills. What happened? I thought the National Youth Games was a platform where we could possibly harness talents from. So what is really the problem? Why is it difficult for we to harness the talent down here in the country? We always rely on people who are already made, like Uche Eke. He doesn't base in Nigeria. He actually came to help the country participate in gymnastics in the last Olympic game. Why is it difficult for we to harness talents in the country?
I think for me, we want a quick fix. We just want the shortcut. We don't want to follow the proper way. What is the proper way? You start from grassroots. Like we had, like we saw in the last, Nigerian games here, where a young gymnast, that hails from Kaduna was spotted at a very tender age. We heard that the state government picked him, saying that we were going to nurture him and all of that. But today, we haven't heard anything. So for me, it looks as though the shortcut...
Could lack of facilities also be the reason?
That is part of the reason. But then, if you truly want to improve, wouldn't you want to bring some of this young talent and also groom them, possibly, even if it takes you sending them, to our neighboring countries that have better facilities like Egypt, Tunisia, Algeria, South Africa. Over there, they have at least a better facility compared to what we see here out here. But so if there is a deliberate and a conscious plan towards developing that talent, towards developing such sport, I think we should do well to also start building up facilities. Then, if we can't build it up as early as possible, because it takes time, building up facilities is not just something you just wake up one day and say, okay, let me, put money into it. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of money to do that. But then, should we also forsake the young talent that is coming up just because we don't have a proper facility for them to climb up and use it as a tools to perfect their craft? No, you need to also send them abroad. Abroad doesn't necessarily mean until you get to United States of America, until you get to France, until you get to Switzerland. I've just given an example. Egypt here, Tunisia, Algeria, South Africa. You can also send them to acquire the skills because over there they have a much improved facilities. But like I said, it looks as though there is no deliberate and a conscious approach towards, grooming up talent. And that is why we just pay deaf eyes and deaf ear to them. And it's a big worry, like I said. And that is the reason why countries like Egypt will continue to dominate when it comes to the African Championship, when it comes to the All-African Games. We'll continue to play the second fiddle against teams like Egypt, even Morocco, that is coming up very strong at this point in time. So it's a big worry. These are things that we need to, these are the basics. If we want to get there, we know it is not overnight that we just wake up and begin to produce some of these big-name stars, that can hoist the flag of the country and make us proud out there. You start from the basics. That is the grassroots. So for me, I think, like I said, we are just good at following the shortcut instead of following the proper channel of getting things done. And until we change from that culture and mentality, we will continue to stay where we are. And we will see other countries that are ready to develop and evolve their sport coming to overtake us, and will continue to answer the nomenclature giant of Africa for nothing.
And we're gradually going down. If you take a look at the just concluded African Games, South Africa, of course, were ahead of us. We came second, and someone would say, of course, that's a good performance. But of course, when you take a look at the athlete that Nigeria boasts of course, you will say they should be able to do more than South Africa,
sure,
on a very good day. But I will take a look at how the performance of Team Nigeria will be this time at the Paris Olympic Games. We'll hope for the best, for the team. But we'll take a short break now, and we'll come back from the break. We'll bring you the latest for designing the first round pairing of the games of the game is out, and we're seeing which of these players will be playing in the first round of the competition. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Corruption not in my country.
Kasali, I hope so my car don't ready. I get interview in 30 minutes.
Guy, you don't ready. I just the last minute instruction where you give me yesterday. Now in the cause more delay.
Which instruction?
Maybe now you say make I change the meter, make you no read again.
Which time I make you change meter? Oh, Kasali, why you do like this now? You don't get sense. You don't read the text message. Nobody I want send them to. Like Kasali, my electrician, make it come house, call me, do my meter so that you don't go to read again. You the electrician?
The electrician?
Yes, now.
So you call Kasali electrician, make it come help you adjust your meter, make it for no read again, Abi. So you said you want join people where be say they no want they pay NEPA bill again, Abi. Oga, you no good now. You don't use you don't they behave like all these stiff people.
Oh, what you change from your motor? What you change from?
Full light. Fuel gauge. Speedometer.
For what you now? You for come out for home my motor. I better identify for me.
Okay. Now don't do something we corrupt. Do something come backfire. Now go come they find how to dodge them.
What you talk?
They greet you.
Corruption not in my country.
brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
Driver, why you just dey jack us up and down like this now?
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask oh?
Because this road where they see so, it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so e no dey, light o usa, the infrastructure nko e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No vex, now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry please don't cost.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello? Now my body network there. I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. I will call you back.
Their behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently. Make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
And with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't book.
Welcome back to Sports Extraordinary Weekend Edition, and we'll bring you the latest revolving around the world of sport. Time to talk tennis on the show, and former Wimbledon former champion Andy Murray and Novak Djokovic shrug off lingering injury concerns today to take their places in the draw for Wimbledon. Murray, the 2013 and 2016 champion, had appeared certain to miss out on what will be his farewell appearance at the All England club after undergoing a back operation last weekend. Fellow former #1 Djokovic, the 7-time champion, also needed surgery earlier this month after suffering a serious knee injury at the French Open. However, today the two 37-year-olds career-long rivals took their places in the draw for the third Grand Slam tournament of the year, which starts on Monday. Murray will face 38th ranked Thomas Vacek of the Czech Republic, who has defeated British star twice this year. Djokovic seeded 2 will take on 123rd ranked Viktor Kuprik, also of the Czech Republic, who will be making his Wimbledon debut. But first, let's talk about this man trying to struggle with injury to make sure they participate at the Wimbledon. Michael,
I think it's a positive one for me. He needs some of these big names in the Wimbledon to ensure that you attract the fans into the court, because the big names are some of the things that makes any competition very, very exciting, very, very thick, and it also endears fans into the courts out there to come out and watch, some of these games. So I think it's a positive one players like Andy Murray, Novak Djokovic, despite the injury worry, despite the injury setback, they have strong off such injury setback to be part and parcel of this very one. Though we understand that, you know, Murray might not be able to take part in the singles, but definitely in the doubles, he might be 100% fit for that very one. But then I'm thinking that is going to be his last major tournament. Taking a look at his form this time around, I think after the Wimbledon, possibly that may just be his last game, because I don't see the US
Open.
But for me, I'm just thinking, looking at what he has said over the past 2 weeks right now, I'm just thinking he's going to use the Wimbledon as a place of retirement. But I think if you want to retire, you want to retire on a very high note, and that is why he want to take part in the Wimbledon despite the injury worries. So for me, I think it's a positive one, like I've said earlier. But then one thing is very certain, that it will come to a point where some of these young lads, their blood is still flowing through their vein, very active. It's going to send them packing if they don't want to leave the stage, But then, I tell you, it's a positive one. Seeing players that have made a mark in terms of, tennis, players like Murray and Novak Djokovic, who is the former world #1 before he was dethroned by Yannick Sinner right now. Presently, he's seated in the third ranking, because Yannick Sinner is first, Carlos Alcaraz is second, Novak Djokovic third right now. So I think this will more want to spur him up, to see if he can be able to, get this one on the board, nick this one on the board, so that he can also improve on his ranking. But I tell you, it's not going to be an easy one. Though, looking at the draws, you saw relatively an easy draw in the first round, but definitely in the third and in the second, third round, that is where we begin to see, stiff opponent being paired against them. But then, like I said, I think it's a good one to see some of these big name stars making it through.
Let's see how it goes for the man Novak Djokovic and Andy Murray. How far can they go in the coming Wimbledon? Wimbledon starts on Monday, and I tell you, the first round pairing is out already. And talking about another man everyone will be looking out for is the man Yannick Sinner. Of course, he succeeded Novak Djokovic, just like you heard from Michael, to be world #1 after the French Open. The man, of course, will be facing another opponent, talking about Yannick Affman. And if he gets through that particular encounter, he could face Italian compatriots and turn to the one runner-up, talking about Matteo Berrettini in the second round of the competition. Michael, Yannick Sinner is the man of the moment, the one everyone is looking forward to see how far he'll be able to maintain that world #1 status. We saw what happened to him in the French Open. Carlos Alcaraz, actually, stopped his impressive run so far this season. But what do you make of his appearance this time at the Wimbledon?
Well, I think, like you said, he's the man, he's the rave of the moment, talking about Yannick Sinner. Carrying himself as a world #1 down to the Wimbledon, I think it's going to be a massive one. And again, he will feel challenged for losing out to Carlos Alcaraz in the last tournament out there. And I think that is going to spur him up to also, want to double his effort this time around in the Wimbledon. So you can't actually write Yannick Sinner off as a world #1 despite his loss to Carlos Alcaraz in their last meeting. But then I still think that Carlos Alcaraz is that man to watch out for in this year's Wimbledon, because he still has what it takes as well to also spring an upset and maintain his status quo as the #1.
Let me put you on the sports. Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner, who is better?
I'm already on the spot, and there's no need of putting me on the spot again. I'm already on the spot. Yannick Sinner and Alcaraz. There are so many things that you use to evaluate players. Sometimes people just have this natural like for some players out there. Whether they play well or they don't play well, it's just like the back and forth between Cristiano Ronaldo fans and Lionel Messi. Whether they play fine or not, they just have this natural love for them. But if you take a look at statistics vis-a-vis their form or their play as well is something different. So for me, putting me on the spot, who is better between Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner, I will tell you, as it stands right now, Yannick Sinner, he's the best player. He is world #1. So I think Yannick Sinner, for me, is great. Is better compared to Carlos Alcaraz, because over the years, we've seen Carlos Alcaraz looking more like he's going to be the poster boy, looking more like he's going to be the one that is going to assume or dethrone or stage Novak Djokovic as the world #1. But each time he comes close to, he doesn't just live up to that hype. He doesn't just live up to that expectation. Whenever he gets to meet Novak Djokovic, even while he's sleeping, even without training, he still goes to the court and to humiliate Carlos Alcaraz. But just look at what Yannick Sinner did to Novak Djokovic. So for me, I think, looking at it, I think that Yannick Sinner is better off than Carlos Alcaraz. But that is not to take anything away from, the quality or the scintillating display of some games that Carlos Alcaraz has played. But if you talk about tactics, I think Yannick Sinner has a better tactical disposition compared to Carlos Alcaraz.
But the stats do not agree.
And that is why I tell you that most times stat does not
because
really
when you
tell
take a
the
look
truth.
at the stats here before me, you talk about, a Grand Slam. Alcaraz has won 3 Grand Slams so far in his career. Yannick Sinner only 1 Grand Slam. You take a look at some Masters titles. Alcaraz has won 5 and Yannick Sinner 2. And then you talk about other titles. Yannick Sinner has won 13, while we saw 16 for so Alcaraz has won 13, Yannick Sinner has won 16. So overall, you take a look at titles that those both players have won. Alcaraz has won a total of 21 titles for himself, while Yannick Sinner has 19.
Many times, statistics doesn't really tell the story. For example, Osno Kocha was a midfield maestro. The likes of Ronaldinho actually learned from him. But will you now say that because of how good J.J. Okocha was, that is better off compared to Mikel Obi as a midfielder? No. Why? Because Mikel Obi won the English Premier League with Chelsea. How many times? He won the Champions League. But then, if you want to take a look at these two players, placing them side by side, Okocha and Mikel Obi, who is of a better player? That is the truth. Everybody, even the blind, will pick Okocha as a better player compared to Mikel Obi.
This comparison, I think it doesn't tally, because tennis is an individual sport, while football is a collective game. It's a collective effort. But tennis is a personal effort.
I quite agree. But then, like I told you earlier, that if you take a look at the skills, the tactical disposition of Yannick Sinner is better off compared to Carlos Alcaraz. I've taken time to watch
I will agree with you when you say present form.
No,
yes.
No,
I will agree with you when you say present form.
Whether present or past, the truth is that you get to take a keen interest and watch their game side by side. You watch their game closely and take a look at how tactically good Yannick Sinner is. And the quality of players that Carlos Alcaraz have played is quite different from the quality of players that Yannick Sinner have played as well. So these are things that you must have to put in place.
I don't really think so. Because these players both have met the best, the very best on the court. They've met the very best. Who haven't they played with? Except maybe like, I would say Roger Federer, who retired of recent. I know, I would say, but I think they've played the very best.
Yeah. Then the truth is that statistics really doesn't tell the true story behind any players out there, whether it is an individual sport or whether a collective sport. Statistics most time doesn't really tell the story. And if statistics was to tell the story, there is no how that Carlos Alcaraz, that have been closely pursuing Novak Djokovic to dethrone him and couldn't have played better game or won better trophy compared to Yannick Sinner, wouldn't have been in the first position as we speak right now. And that is to tell you clearly that statistics doesn't really tell the story. But that is just the truth.
Talking about the ranking, I would say it's present form. Your present form determines your ranking. That's the truth. Take a look at, for instance, Andy Murray. Where is he ranked now? He's not in a very good form. You talk about, what was his name? Djokovic, who has been #1 for a very long time. He's not in a very good form. So I think form is what really determine your ranking. Form, and not really most of the time your abilities, your skills, your potential. So your form is what it is. Sometimes injury can, make you have a decline in form. So that's what I'm saying.
I agree. I just hope that they can be able to meet in this Wimbledon, so that we possibly will come to the studio and sit here, put ourselves on the hot spot.
But they met at the French Open
to see if they can be able to. No two games is alike. No two games is alike. I'm just hoping on the lighter note that they could be able to meet in this Wimbledon final, so that maybe we'll possibly settle this final. But for me, I go for Yannick Sinner. Okay. Despite the fact that maybe for you, Carlos Alcaraz for you. But for me,
I'm not really saying that, but I'm just saying, I'm just putting up the statistics out there so that we can be able to see what these players have been able to achieve for the little time they've played. But let's move on. Let's see what happened, of course, in the Wimbledon between these players. But talking about Alcaraz, he's seeded three. Alcaraz has been seeded down there second, and this time he's going to face another player, not a very strong player. This man is ranked 262. Talking about Mark Larger of Estonia. That's going to be Alcaraz's opponent in the first round of the competition. In the women's draw, world number 1 Iga Swiatek, who recently won fourth French Open title, meets 2020 Australian Open champion Sophia Kenin in our opener. Swiatek, who has never made it past the quarterfinal at Wimbledon, has former All-England club champion Angelique Kerber and 2017 Roland Garros winner Jelena Ostapenko in her section of the draw. Riding high on a 19-match winning streak, Swiatek is slated to face defending Wimbledon champion Marketa Vondrousova in the last 8 of the competition. U.S. Open champion Kugov, the second seed, starts against compatriot Carlin Tahinde, who is ranked 52 at this point. 4-time major winner Naomi Osaka looms in golf section of the draw. The Japanese former world number 1 who faces Dana Perry in our opener is playing at the tournament for the first time since 2019. Third seed and Australian Open champion Irina Sabalenka, a 2-time semi-finalist, starts against 106th ranked Emina Bastos of the United States of America. A potential last 16 opponent is Russia teenager Mira Andreeva, who defeated Sabalenka in the French Open quarterfinal this year. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and see how it goes down for these players in the Wimbledon that starts on Monday. Well, Michael, let's move on as we talk about the Copa America. The United States of America Soccer Federation condemned the online racist abuse suffered by several of its players following their 2-1 defeat to Panama in that particular one. Some players, of course, that were abused in that game was Florin Balogun, the Crystal Palace defender Chris Richard, and Juventus pair Timothy Whale. Remember him, the son of George Whale, and Weston McKinnon in that particular one. What do you make of the encounter between USA and Panama and the abuse on the players?
I think it's quite disheartening how we keep hearing about racial abuse and all of that. There have been many ways that the Football Federation, the football fraternity have also tried to also stamp down on this ugly incident, where it looks as though it has continued unabated. And for the United States fans this time around, I think it's quite disappointing in the sense that going as far as going to social media to begin to attack these players, I think it's quite disappointing.
Majority of the players are blacks.
Yeah, they've been giving it their best out there. Even for Lauren Shaw, he was the one that scored their first goal. In 14 appearances, has actually scored 8 goals for the U.S. national team. For George Weah Jr., I think he's doing pretty well. For McKenna, the Juventus star, very good player. For the fact that you did not have an impressive game in one match, doesn't warrant the United States fans out there to go to the social media and begin to abuse and drag this black player courtesy of color variation. I think it doesn't make sense, and I think it's also very timely that the United Soccer Federation also came out very closely to condemn such attack with all amount of sincerity. I think they should also go further beyond just condemning it. Fish out these fans and punish them as a due, because social media is not hidden. Their names are there. You can easily trace them. Give them a ban, suspension. Don't come close to the stadium. Be so meter away from the stadium. If you dare come close, you'll be arrested, and we see such posts from such person again. You clamp down on such account. It's very simple as that. It's not good that you're just paying lip services to some of these ugly incidents, and it continues, you know. And so for me, I think it's quite disappointing. USA, I understand one of the players, either Olorunso Balogun, got a red card in the first 18 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I think he actually threw a punch on the player of the Panama side.
Yeah.
And he was red carded.
In 18 minutes of the game. And that possibly, you may want to say, that cost them the game. Though, despite that, they took the lead first, you know, but you can't sustain, they couldn't sustain that momentum. Playing 10 men against 11 in a professional football is a very, very difficult one. So the Panama, they came back, equalized, and, you know, took the lead, and that is how the game ended. But at the closing stage of the game, the Panama player as well also got a red card as well. So for me, I think totally disappointing for the fans, for the behaviors of the fans as well. But then, despite the loss, USA, they are still in pole position to go through assistance right now.
All right, talking about USA, they have a better goal difference and need a match, need to match Panama's result against Bolivia to progress to the last 16. Venezuela, they beat Mexico by 1-0, and Uruguay beat Bolivia by 5-0. Today we'll see Colombia against Costa Rica in the Copa America. But Michael, we hear that Georgia, they are celebrating at the moment because a certain billionaire, you know, has given them $10 million for beating Portugal in the Euro 2024. His name is Bizezina Ivanchevili. That's the man, of course, that gave them this money, 10 million naira, for getting that result against Portugal. But this is the first time that they are, you know, playing in the Euros and putting up such an impressive performance. How far can they go after getting to this round of the competition?
Well, how far they can go is in their hand. I think they need to answer that question. But then I think one thing very encouraging is the fact that after their good and impressive performance of going through first in their history of qualifying for the group stage, I think they need this kind of reward to also keep the players more.
But the thing is that they'll be meeting Spain in the round of 16.
Definitely. Which for me is going to be very dicey. Spain that topped their group, played 3 games, won all their game, 9 points. It's going to be a very difficult one for them. But then in football, you can never say never, you know. So most time, you don't just write off any team just because they had a very good outing. You know, most time you can do well in the group stage, but when you get to the knockout stage, it's a different ball game altogether. It's a one-legged game. You know that if you don't give your 110%, you are out of the competition. And that is why most time, when you get to the knockout stage, expect the unexpected. So I can't sit here and tell you that Spain have an advantage, yeah? Looking at it on paper, I want to say, yes, it's going to be a roller coaster ride for the Spanish national team. But then, I tell you, this is knockout stage, and anything at all can happen.
I'll keep our fingers crossed and see how it goes. The round of 16 fixtures will come up tomorrow in the Heroes, and we'll see how far Georgia will be able to go after putting up an impressive performance against Portugal. But at this point, we have to call it a wrap. We'll be back tomorrow by 7 a.m. And as well, we'll bring you another exciting edition of Sports Personality Show. Sport Extraordinary will make a return by 6 p.m. tomorrow. So do well to join us. Michael, it's been an impressive time this evening.
Definitely. I always enjoy here. You know, anytime we talk sport, I always do enjoy it.
I always have the best of time on Atlantic Television Network. We can't go without telling you that Ademola Lookman is a sport extraordinary for winning the best player in Atalanta for the second time. I think for me, an impressive one for the man. Peace and unity all the pathways to progress. My name is Kingsley Manuel. Thanks for watching.
19.79, it's a goal!